All right. Hey, hey, welcome back. All right, Scorpios, here we go. Let's jump on in and see what we've got on the topic of love. Three of Swords is in the reverse, which is pretty awesome to see. If we're going to get that card at all, let's definitely see it in the reverse. That's wonderful. That speaks of a heartbreak that is lessening, or somebody who's going to make sure that they don't break Scorpio's heart. That would be a nice change of pace, wouldn't it? We have Temperance. Oh, this is beautiful. I don't think this is somebody who's needing to come in and fix what was broken. I feel like this is somebody who's not here to cause a ruckus. They're as peaceful and calm. Maybe they're matching Scorpio's energy. This could be a Sagittarius or a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, but this feels like the hand of the divine is involved. Now, of course, I could read this as if Scorpio is feeling really balanced and really healed and not heartbroken. I could read it that way. Jeannie. Um, but that doesn't have to be. We have a high priestess. See, I would say that this is a shared energy. High priestess tends to pick up on the spidey senses. The temperance card can represent, balance between two things. Obviously, they've chosen to put the Libra scales on this high priestess card. So again, we talk about balance between two different things. I really think somebody is just as high vibrational as Scorpio. Is this somebody Scorpio is already starting to date? Is this somebody that Scorpio has on their mind? Knight of Cups, again with those angel wings. The Knights are action takers, and this could be somebody who's moving forward into Scorpio's world. This could be somebody who's starting to talk to Scorpio, starting to, maybe these two just have like some nice little, conversations here and there that seem a little bit romantic, or they've expressed, I'm interested in you. God, you seem really lovely. You seem really nice. There is already this baseline of trust. I know you're not somebody who's here to cause me grief and damage. We don't have like a toxic attachment. We don't have just a lust based, passion driven desire here. It doesn't mean that there isn't any lust, but what it says is we've got a more spiritual connection and a real emotional connection that is starting. This feels very fresh. This feels very much like we're just now beginning. Hey, EM Val. Good to see you guys again tonight. We have Emperor upright. That Emperor energy is, I can see why Scorpio might say, I'm not really worried about this person. I don't feel threatened by them. They feel pretty consistent. It feels like when they open their mouth, they say things that come across as true. They don't seem like somebody who needs a bunch of applause. It seems like they know themselves. They're pretty comfortable in their own right. My impression right now is that this is going to be someone who is like, I'm getting like a Gerard Butler looking dude, or just somebody who's very comfortable in themselves, like I'm just picturing like movie stars and stuff that have played roles of, maybe this is somebody at a certain age in their life where they've been battle tested. They know where their comfort zones are. They're not afraid of their own shadow. They're not somebody who has doubts about their personality. They're kind of like, well, this is the real me. Um, I don't always do things right, but I do things where I think it's the best way to do things. I'm not messing about. I'm not wasting people's time. I got real stuff to attend to. So I pretty much don't have time to pretend to be somebody else or collect false friends or manipulate. That would be way too exhausting. I don't do that. This is somebody who's got a lot of like personal pride also in the right way. That who they are, what they've done in their life, they own all of it. The good, the bad, the ugly. This is who I am, all the cards on the table. That's how they are coming across. I can see why Scorpio would be very attracted to this person. I get this image of somebody who could be a little bit older. They may not be the, I don't think that they look like a GQ model or, whatever, a magazine model. I think that they may look like a real human, not airbrushed, somebody who's like, maybe they leave their hair a little bit shaggy. That I love whatever the natural look is. If you're hairy, be hairy. If you're bald, be bald. It's all hot. That's always how I feel. Like whatever your body's naturally doing, that's sexy. But I feel like that's the way I would describe this person. Like they're just comfortable. Like they're not too hung up on things that don't change anything about who they are on the inside. They don't care that much about, wasting time being like insecure about things. That would be very hot. I could see Scorpio really digging that. Two of Cups. Dang, is this like the best connection that Scorpio could have ever come across? Somebody who is matching their energy completely. Everything that I've just described about this possible like Aries energy, Emperor, would be exactly reflected in the way Scorpio is. Scorpio might be at a phase in their life where they're just as comfortable in their own skin. They don't have a ton of hangups. They don't, get focused on ego, and they don't get easily bent out of shape. They don't assume everything is about them. They don't worry if people don't like them. It's like, plenty of people won't like me, not really my problem. That's how they feel about me is none of my business. I just feel like Scorpio's super like down to earth, super confident. This is going to be a wonderful relationship, and I feel like it's just starting. I feel like these two are somehow, I don't know what the opening line is or how these two first are meeting, but it feels like where we pick the storyline up is that two people are already aware of each other, and the read that they have on each other is, at the end of the day, I just think you're a decent person. I have no idea at the beginning if you're going to become my great love. I have no idea if you're anything other than someone that, I just know you're not somebody who's telling me this huge line and this false persona. I don't get the ick vibes from you. I don't get the liar vibes. I don't get the too suave or like politician vibe. I think you're, at the end of the day, no matter what else you might be, you're probably not perfect, but I don't think you're a liar. That is how this starts. That's a great baseline. I mean, maybe that doesn't sound very like, ooh, romantic. Honestly, I think that's like the greatest starting point for a romance, to meet somebody and be like, I think I'm meeting the real you. I think if you, have a crude side, you'll probably show that to me also, and be like, yeah, I cuss. I, make off color jokes sometimes. I am not trying to insult people, but I also am not going to walk on eggshells. That it just feels like these are going to be two people who are not fronting. Now, after that, we start to see that there's some emotional attachment starting to grow. We start to see some respect. We start to see like a tenderness that starts to build. And it's not because either one of these people is oh so perfect. Again, these are not the airbrushed, we always say the perfect thing, we're perfectly PC. This is like more real. This is a great, especially for like a Scorpio, I feel like this would be a great combo, because it's just very, I don't know, it feels like it's coming from the soul. It feels like this would be two people who are showing each other the real version of themselves right out of the gate. No apologies. We got a Six of Swords. If anything, I think it's going to be incredibly cathartic and healing to meet this person and start to build something with them. How do they see Scorpio? Let's turn our attention first to that. How does this person see Scorpio? Knight of Cups, Strength card. So they're interested. They are right out of the gate. But they also have tremendous respect for Scorpio, also right out of the gate. I don't know if Scorpio, I'm getting this image of somebody who like either is from the country or they have a lot of animals. They might be, I could picture somebody who like works with, like horses or something. And it's like, if you can soothe a 3,000-pound animal, that's pretty amazing, or just whatever is, maybe this Scorpio, like an equivalent to that would be non-animal related, would be maybe Scorpio's like somebody who works in the ER or something. It's like, wow, you can deal with that much stress and trauma and be cool, calm, collected and manage it and bring, save people's lives, but also keep everything moving smoothly, do what needs to be done. I mean, that is very attractive. So they have tremendous respect for the strength that is clearly visible in Scorpio. And I'm just giving some extreme examples of, different things that someone might, appreciate, like different types of, qualities of strength. I'm not saying Scorpio has to work in those industries. I'm just saying that there is, we can see somebody in their strength in any given circumstances, you know. But I love the fact that they look at Scorpio as, yes, they are attracted right out of the gate, but it's nice that they couple it with, I'm so attracted to your strength. That is a beautiful compliment. I'm not surprised that they would feel that loving, like, compliment toward a Scorpio. I mean, heck, maybe they see Scorpio literally like do something brave or pick up something heavy, and it's like, dang, you know exactly how to like leverage body weight. And you know, like I saw this little lady one time move a piano like it was nothing, and she's got one of the little piano mover levers, and she was like, oh, probably 65, and like, you know, I'm 6 feet tall, and she was itty bitty, and I was like, what do you mean she's a piano mover? Like, we have to go help her. And she's like, oh, no, no, no. And she was incredible. Like, those are the moments where you go, you understand the dynamics of, you know, like physics. Like, this is amazing. That's another example of like strength that you just find yourself like, wow, I'll never forget how amazing that was to watch that little bitty gal do that. Um, but I'm just throwing out different ideas of why they would respect, you know, somebody who's like intelligent, uses their wits. I could see how that would be very, very attractive to them. How does Scorpio look at them right out of the gate? Inspiration of Cups. Again, I'm interested, a little less so. They're a little bit less like ready to move toward. So they're definitely playing the role of like divine masculine because they're in the action taking energy of that night both times. Whereas Scorpio's in the page's energy. So the knight is going to take more of a step forward. The page is going to be like, you know, the pages are messengers, but the knights are the action takers. So I feel like Scorpio, you know, is like, oh, I'm fine talking to them. There's, you know, having a little bit of conversation. It's comfortable dialogue. They seem to be, you know, I like the sound of their voice. They seem to be, you know, non whatever caustic or confrontational. Well, but there is the sun. So Scorpio does get a buzz out of talking to this person because it feels like they have clear dialogue. They can understand what this person means to say is exactly what they say. There's nothing hidden in shadow. That is, again, we just kind of keep seeing the same messages, right? They both feel like they're meeting the real version of one another. That is a great basis for starting things out. Universe, do you have a message here for Scorpio? Yeah, we'll go with this deck. Death card sideways. Death card is about change and transformation. In this case, having it sideways can indicate that both people feel the same way. Like, this is a good year for these two to meet. This feels like a brand new romance that just gets a chance to start. Feels like even the fact, I don't know if this is happening yet. I feel like this is not till June. I think I got a message today about July for Virgo also. And I don't usually think of like dates and times necessarily. I really have to push to try to dig out a timeline for my characters. But there's something about this, only because this is Year of the Snake, and you know, this card is sideways, so it's like half a year. That's the only reason I want to say June. And you notice that we have that third eye that's right there, bone deep. I don't even think this is really going to be a surprise. I feel like Scorpio already knows that there is somebody really real on the horizon for them. And maybe it's just because Scorpio's like, I am so ready to meet somebody real. I wouldn't entertain the idea of a player. I wouldn't entertain or give the time of day to somebody that I can read their intentions without them even approaching me. There's no point in me messing with anybody that I already know I'm not meeting the real version of them. I think that's a total turnoff for the Scorpio. You show up like your real self or not even interested at all. And I feel like that's a really great reason for both of them to meet each other now, because I'm guessing that they probably share that energy. They're, you know, sometimes you get to an age or you get to a place in life where you can't be bamboozled by the things that you might have been bamboozled by, you know, when you were in your 20s, you know, in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. You don't get as easily caught up in the pizzazz that people show you when they show you their cleaned up version of themselves. And they're like suave, but they've got no truth behind it. And then when you get to a certain age and you've lived enough life, sometimes you go, I really couldn't care less. You don't need to dazzle me with any tales of heroics or anything like that, half of which is false anyway. Just be you, and that's already going to be sexy. Like, it's not that somebody lowers their standards. Actually, the standards get more meaningful. That's what I'll say. And I feel like that's a great way to describe this particular character, this Scorpio. But I feel like that's exactly the way they are as well. You know, if we were going to summarize, this is the right time of Scorpio's life to meet a true Two of Cups because they're mature enough to recognize a Two of Cups and vice versa. You know, other times we think that, you know, somebody that's we're lusty for is, oh, well, they must be the right person for me. I want them. And when we really get mature, that's when we go, no, just because I want them doesn't mean that I'm wanting something healthy for myself. Wisdom is knowing the difference. So I really feel like this is a very wise, very mature, and very down to earth Scorpio. And this is the year for them to meet their really beautiful match. Oh, this felt so like refreshing and kind of relaxing is how this came across. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this one here. So good to see everybody. All right, I was going to do just one more tonight before I bounce out. Would you guys rather I do Ophiuchus or Gemini tonight if you have any preference? Thanks again, Jeannie Vale, EM Bell, Tammy Andrews. Great to catch you, love. Sabrina, awesome to see you here again tonight. Yeah, it's my pleasure, hun. 11:08. I know. I just thought I would do a couple of lives late tonight for the late night owls. All right, I see an Ophiuchus vote. All right, then that's what we shall do. 11:08. I'll see you guys next for Ophiuchus. Contented Tiger. I love the ladybug. That is so cute. Thank you again, Sabrina. Thank you for reminding me. I so appreciate you guys giving it a thumbs up. Ian Bell, I swear, I think sometimes I learn lessons, then I still have to relearn them. All right, you guys, take care. I'll see you next in Ophiuchus. We'll do that one live also. Bye.